why does it cost tens of thousands of dollars for a woman to have a baby? Like, the government wants women to keep having babies. Okay, like, they want the population to keep, like, at a steady rate, if not, like, increasing. But they make it as hard as fucking possible for women to have babies. Like, it is, like, so many women have terrible experiences in the hospital. I've been seeing pregnancy videos. Their bills are, like, close to $50,000. I can't even imagine what it costs without insurance. Like, that is, like, I just can't wrap my head around it. Like, why is it so hard for women to have children? But at the same time, women are pressured into having children. Like, they've always been pressured into having children. Like, it's insane. Like, when does it end? Truly.
A recent report just came out, and it states that it costs $300,000 and $300,000 to raise a child from birth to 18 years of age. Let me know if you guys agree with it. As a mom of one, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I know it's going to be a lot of people who are like, no, that's not true. You guys are just living outside of your means. No, I guess it depends on where you live. But the first year alone, hospital bills, baby, it was like $15,000 to $20,000 worth of hospital bills because my daughter was born early. Okay, so she was in the hospital. The next year, between all of the hospital visits, the doctor visits, the therapy sessions, that alone, I'm sure, is at least half of that. Not to mention formula, not to mention daycare. Once my daughter started going to daycare, it was $1,580 something a month. What's that a year? That's $18,960 a year we were spending for daycare. So again, I think the 16,000 number is actually being cute. If I can be quite honest, it's being very cute.
Yeah, it's expensive. I think it depends on how you raise your child. I feel like if you're raising them the way they're supposed to be raised, yes, it's going to be that amount. But you can find ways to shortcut it. But anyway, let's get into this next clip.
How much will it cost to have our baby? So this is something that gets brought up a lot when I go live because I am self-employed. We do not have insurance, and I am the only financial provider for my family. So at my OBGYN's office, we have paid for a package. I was paying out of pocket, and then they were like, oh, the package deal is better. And I think it includes around 12 visits, my ultrasounds. It does not include labs, but I think that package with her delivering my baby is $6,200, so $6,200. And then at the hospital, when we went to register at the hospital, they get all of your information. They ask for your insurance. And of course, we said we're not paying with insurance. And so they showed us all these options and they go, which one do you think you're going to do? And it says like vaginal birth with epidural. There's C-section, and then there's a couple little things in between that are kind of just like different from the basics. But you tell them, like, I believe this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be doing a vaginal birth, and then with or without epidural. We said without for now. And then if that changes, we know what that cost looks like. But right now, I wish I had like the sheet that said all the information, but you just have to select one and you can change it at any time. And then it says like pretty much when you are giving birth and like 24-hour stay, like what's included. It says everything's included, but I'm sure obviously that can change. But if you're not having an epidural, I think it was around $3,500. And if you are having an epidural, it's around $4,500. So this baby is costing a little over 10, I would say 10 to 12,000 with like all the blood work I've done and like all those bills. I would say closer to the 12,000 range. But again, I kind of want to do an update video on this if things change. But they did say at the hospital that you just have to pay your package price before you leave the hospital. So they should have everything like itemized and whatnot before I leave, which is really great. I don't know why they do that. I have heard recently that people, even if they do have insurance, that they do make them pay something before they leave. But it is kind of nice to know because I honestly feel like going into this, I didn't really know what to expect. And when I saw the hospital bill, it was just totally different than I expected. I thought it was going to be way more. But it is really nice to know like these things are covered. And like I said, I'll have to do an update to make sure that's a little bit more accurate, but they really try to be super transparent with you. I will say things that I think cost extra is like when they prescribe you like ibuprofen, like the higher doses of ibuprofen. And they're like, oh, do you want to go home with that? I think they would obviously charge you for that because you'd have to pay for that, or like if you take medicine like that in the hospital. So I think I kind of want to bring my own, because sometimes you'll hear about people who are like, oh my gosh, they gave me an ibuprofen, why did it cost like $70 for every dose? So I think that we'll just like bring ibuprofen, Tylenol. That's one thing with my daughter when I left the hospital that I was like, oh no, I'm doing great, I don't need that. And I really feel like I felt a lot of pain in my uterus after, like when I was breastfeeding, I could feel my uterus contracting, and I wish like I would have just taken pain meds. And so I think I'm gonna go like Tylenol, ibuprofen, Tylenol, ibuprofen. You can tell me if you have any similar experience, or if you are like a self-pay, cash pay, no insurance baby mama having a baby. I would love to know, but that's just like our situation and kind of what we're expecting. And I will do an update if it's dramatically different or not what I was expecting. But yeah, that's me being self-employed, no insurance. And I am taking 6 weeks off, which is crazy because we don't have money coming in for 6 weeks for our family. But also we've done savings, like we use a health savings card for this, and my husband has been putting money away for this. So we've been preparing as much as we can, and we're super excited, but I would love to hear your experience.
I'm 28 years old.
And I'm 27 years old.
So we're reaching that age when people start asking us,
So when are you gonna have babies?
so here's exactly how much it costs to have a baby in America. Now, if you're having a normal birth, not a C-section, it's going to cost $13,024. And this all depends on how long you actually stay in the hospital. A C-section, on the other hand, costs $22,647. And 1 in 3 births are C-sections. Now, if you have insurance, it does go down to about $7,000 to $2,700 out of pocket. That helps a lot. Okay, now you have the baby. You got to take care of this human. In the first year, you might have daycare costs. That will be your highest expense because it costs $13,900 every year on average. That's the average. That means it can go even higher than that. Let's say you have parents nearby, you don't have to worry about that. You still got diapers. Diapers are going to be $1,000. Food's going to be $1,500. Clothes, you're going to have to pay $800 because this thing keeps growing every month. You got to buy the baby new clothes. Hand-me-downs are welcome. Healthcare, you got to pay $1,800 in the first year just for those monthly checkups. So if you add all that up, that's about $16,800 every single year. Now, if you go all the way till 18, you're graduating high school, it's time to go to college. So you've paid a total of $450,000 to $580,000 for this child. That's a lot of money. Now, I'm going to be honest, having a kid is not all about money, but having your finances straight is very important to make sure you don't have more stress on top of having a child. The main thing for me and Hallie is to figure out what we want to do with our lives. What do we want to do? How do we want to do it? We need to get straight on what the heck we're doing before bringing a new human into this world. But I want to know down in the comments below, do you think this is too much to have a baby in America?
Talk about it. That's a question that people always ask. When you gonna have a baby? When I'm gonna have a baby whenever you give me some money to have one. How about that? Same with marriages, bro. They want to rush you into something that takes a financial responsibility of, you gotta be responsible, okay? Let's look at this next clip, man. It gets worse.
Wisconsin is the 3rd most expensive state in the entire nation for childbirth. I've been researching this because I'm currently pregnant and about to have a baby in a month, and the average cost of having a baby in Wisconsin can range anywhere from $10,000 up to $23,000. And that's dependent on if you have health insurance or if you don't. And it also depends on if you have childbirth naturally or if you need a C-section. Even if you have insurance, you're billed anywhere between $10,000 and almost $18,000 for just a natural birth that is not C-section. Where if you have a C-section, it's anywhere from $14,000 roughly, a little over $20,000. So it's crazy to think even with insurance, having childbirth in Wisconsin is expensive.
How much does it cost to have a baby in the big 2026? Well, I ran the numbers and I'm gonna tell you. I have a 9-month-old, by the way, and that's what I'm basing this off of. My baby has 4 cans of this formula every single month, and in total that's $168. My baby uses 200 diapers every single month, and that is $54. Plus his wipes he uses is $11 for 6 packs. That's how much he runs through per month. His health insurance is $150 a month. And I thrift his clothes, and I spend roughly $20 a month on his clothes every single month. He eats about $30 $30 of fruit every single month and about $20 of yogurt, adding up to $50. And he eats these type of snacks. In total, those are all $30 together on Amazon. So my baby costs $472 a month, or $5,474 a year. But that doesn't include a car seat, his crib, his furniture, or the things we take him to go do, like the children's museum, the aquarium, the zoo. That's just the bare bones of how much it costs to have a baby in America. That also doesn't include his hospital bill, which was upwards of 40 grand to have him at the hospital. Yeah. Hopefully this was helpful if you're thinking about having a baby or you just wanted the bare minimum cost.
Can we talk about how expensive babies are? Like, she ain't even here yet. And a bunch of money. So I didn't want to have a baby shower this time, right? No baby shower. So I decided I'm just going to buy everything on my registry, because I'm not about to sit here and keep waiting for people to say send me your registry and don't buy anything. Who cares? It's my kid anyway. So I bought the whole thing on my registry. And they're like, oh my God, you bought all of that? You got all these name brand items on there? Yes, I did. You want to know how? Another form of income. Having more than one income allows you to do whatever you want to do. Make as much money as you want. I done told y'all multiple times to get on Printify. I done told y'all it's easy money. It's easy money. You don't have to spend any money to even start it, bro. It's a print and demand company. All you do is make the design. All y'all talk about, y'all want to start businesses. Y'all want to do this. Y'all want to do that. And I'm telling you how to do it. And y'all don't listen. So obviously you don't really want to. Y'all the people who like to just sit there and talk and say you're going to do this one day, when you sitting here on your phone scrolling right now and you could have just clicked the link already and already started your journey. I'm just saying. Printify where it at.
Well, that's the first step, is knowing. At least she's conscious in knowing that babies are expensive with the baby in her stomach.
I just got my hospital bill back from having a baby, and it costs about $20,000 to have a child in the US. So let me kind of explain some of these bills. It doesn't really make sense to me, and I've called them. Hopefully they lowered a little bit. But for me, my hospital stay was $9,694. They charged me for 3 different rooms. I didn't stay in 3 different rooms, so hopefully that gets fixed. But then I think for my prenatal care, it was $5,889. I'm hoping that that's what that charge is, because if not, then I literally have no clue what that is. And then for my daughter, they charged me for the nursery. She went in there for 30 minutes to get the test run, and it was $3,000 for the nursery room. And then $4,400 for all the tests. So for about $20,000, you too can have a baby if you have literally nothing that goes wrong. A completely healthy, like, I was not in the hospital for very long, so I don't really understand how it's $20,000. But I'm just glad that I had a healthy baby. I had a really good birth. Like, I didn't have any complications, so. But for $20,000, you too. Good thing we have insurance.
Having kids is so expensive, and I'm not talking about like your daily things like diapers and formula. No, I'm talking about when you have a child who had some sort of anomaly when you were pregnant and you had to be in the hospital for XYZ amount of days, and then they had to spend a whole month in the NICU, and next thing you know, you have a $200,000 bill from the hospital, and you have to go to follow-up appointments, and that's an extra couple $1,000s. That's what I mean. Kids are expensive. Like, my second child, he's cost me quite a lot of money. So if you see me posting stuff on TikTok Shop, don't judge me. I'm trying to pay these medical bills.
Kids are expensive. You know, if you've been watching this video this long, now this lady's going to break down her reasons why kids are expensive. Let's see what she's talking about.
People always say kids are very expensive, but before I had kids, I just didn't realize how expensive. So I have broken down a cost of how much we have paid so far to have our newborn. Our newborn is 3 weeks old. We also have a 3-year-old. So here is what we have paid so far. All right, let's start with doctor visits. I did have to pay a $40 copay 3 times for a total of $120. My doctor's office requires a labor and delivery payment, so we have to pay for labor and delivery before we go to the hospital. That was $625. They did give us like weeks to plan for that. Did I plan? No. but I paid it. Circumcision, $275. I recently got the hospital bill from our stay. That is $1,700. The epidural is $340. I'll be making payments on those too. I did buy a pack of wipes before he got here for $21. So far, what we have used after that is anything our friends and family have sent us. I have not bought any diapers because our 3-year-old had lots of newborn diapers left over because he was so big. So I've been using all of that and then whatever people have sent me. So I have not bought any diapers. And they've also sent me wipes, so I have not had to purchase any more wipes. I've bought 3 cans of formula. I do use Parents' Choice because it's the same ingredients as Similac and it's so much more affordable. You can get it at Walmart. I bought 3 cans for $32 for a total of $96. The coming home outfit from the hospital, it was monogrammed from Etsy. I spent $45. I did buy a new pack of bottles yesterday because the Dr. Brown's bottles are irritating me. They keep leaking everywhere. So I got some Avent bottles, a 3-pack for $23. I did buy him some new passies, $10, and then a passy clip for $8. We already have the Doona. We already have a crib. We have leftover clothes because our oldest son, same gender, that's nice. And so we have not had to purchase anything new, like bouncers, all of that stuff. We bought brand new for our oldest and we're just reusing. So that is how much we have spent. I'm gonna put the grand total. Kids are expensive. They are worth it, but also plan accordingly. The hospital bill and the epidural, of course, you can make payments on. You don't have to pay that right away. And the labor and delivery and circumcision fee, we had weeks to plan for that. They told us right when we started going there at 6 weeks. This is due towards the end. So yeah, if you want to know how much things are, I will definitely let you know.
Babies are expensive, so here's how much little George's cost us before he was even born. First, equipment such as cot, pram and car seat, 1,850 quid. Then the nursery, furniture, paint, storage, 725 quid. Clothing, because newborns need a lot, 320 pounds. Then entertainment such as toys and books, even though he can't really use them right now, 120 quid. And stockpiling consumables such as nappies and pads, which cost about 95 pounds. Then we have feeding, a couple of bottles and a bit of formula, 25 pounds. And then the other bits that people don't really talk about, such as NCT classes, parking at the hospital and food when you're there, 320 pounds. Then finally something very important, mummy care, such as new clothes, supplements and medication, 490 pounds. So all of that adds up to 3,855 pounds before George was even here. But in reality, it was actually a lot less than that, as we were very lucky to get loads of gifts from friends and family. So the real number after all of those actually came to around £2,455, which is still quite a lot, even with all the hand-me-downs. But to be honest, it's completely worth it. However, as you can probably tell, George is almost through month 1. So I will be breaking down each month how much he has cost us. So if you want to keep up to date with that, or if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments and follow for everything money. Genuinely, how brilliant has he done through all of that?
I get weekly infusions this pregnancy from week 14 to week 39. I have to get these because my stupid immune system decides that any liver of a baby that I'm growing is a foreign object and it needs to attack it. It's highly successful, so I've really never questioned whether or not I need it. I've never questioned the price because my insurance has been covering it, but my insurance is going to change soon, so I thought, let me go check and see how much they've been billing my insurance. I pull up the first bill that I see that says IVIG, and it says $100,000. And I'm shocked because I'm only a third way through, and it's costing $100,000. And then I look at the breakdown. That's for one treatment, one 5.5-hour day at the infusion center. $100,000. This is the breakdown of everything. These bottles of the Gamunex, which is the actual thing that I'm getting, plasma, $30,000 and $60,000 for the big bottle. It's from donors. Plasma is from donors, and they're not getting all that money. How much does it cost to make this concoction? What the I have to get 23 treatments. This is a $2.3 million deal. This is a $2.3 million deal. I thought he might kick me in appreciation. What would you do if you didn't have insurance? I don't even know if I'm going to be billed for any of them. I don't know if there's a maximum that they will cover. I mean, I think I have a maximum out of pocket, so it'll probably be fine. But switching my insurance in October, so I'm getting really nervous. I really hope that they cover this and don't make a fuss about it, because even this insurance, which is really good, it took them weeks to cover it because they had to go back and forth with my doctor on why I would need something like this. And now I kind of understand that, because that's a hefty bill. That is a hefty bill. I'm in the US, obviously. I'm curious about women who are getting this in other countries, because they do have it available in other countries for GALD, specifically the condition that I have. I'm in a group with other women who are going through the treatment, so I think I might go ask. I know there's at least one girl I talked to that's getting it in Brazil, so I'm curious how much they're charging there. I will report back on that.
Yeah, see, that's unfortunate. And see, if you have a healthy baby, you're lucky. Because, like this lady was just saying in the previous clip, to keep the baby healthy. Sweet, man, it's just a lot of stuff you don't really think about while you in the motion of making the kids, because making the kids is a wonderful time. But look at this next clip.
So I knew full well going into having a child that a baby is expensive. Right? Hospital and delivery, just getting the baby here, thousands of dollars in itself. And you buy 1 or 2 million diapers. You have to feed the baby, to clothe the baby, keep it alive, and they grow out of everything super quickly. But what nobody ever warned me about was the fruit. So my baby girl just started eating solid foods, but she doesn't have any teeth, right? So there's a limited amount of things that we can feed her. So that means most meals she's just getting a bunch of fruit, which is totally fine, except this baby pounds food. Very proud of that. But since she eats a ton of food and she can only eat fruit, she eats a lot of fruit. And something I didn't realize is how expensive a lot of fruit is, because she's just not eating bananas, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. It adds up. Pro tip for all of you out there planning on having a kid, don't just budget for having the kid, budget for the fruit.
Budget for the fruit. That's good advice, my brother. You got to budget for the fruit. You got to budget for all the other expenses that pop up with having a kid, whether it's Similac, whether it's milk, whether it's this or that, or Similac, or this or that, or baby fat. You got to budget for it, man. But hey, man, if you guys know, I got kids. I know what they're talking about. They ain't saying not one lie in this video. If you guys have kids, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear it. If you think having a baby just itself is expensive, wait till they get out and then you have to go to work. Daycare is expensive. Click this video right here if y'all want to see that madness. It's crazy. You don't want to miss it. It's been Josh. Talk to him, boy. And I just talked to you, boy. I'm out. Peace.